Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day. Today's video is going to be about Solana. Before I go any further, this is my second crypto channel. I do not hold any Solana, and I don't plan on buying any Solana. However, this channel specifically is for all crypto news, crypto exchanges, crypto projects, token plays, NFTs, how-tos, so on and so forth. And being true to my word, this is not any specific channel for a specific crypto, so I want to cover everything. I was in a space that was run by Mario earlier today. Mario was covering a Twitter space that's covering all the FTX news, all of the Genesis news, and in general, all the crypto and bankruptcy and going out of business news. His space holds 5,000 to 10,000 people at a time. He holds them several times a day, daily. At one point, they were running for 24 hours straight. They were talking a little bit, and there's a guy called Simon Dixon, and he's like a Bitcoin maximalist. He's dealing with the Celsius, the Voyager, the bankruptcy. He's like a name in the crypto space, if you guys know who I'm talking about. And he's like a Bitcoin maxi. And then this guy whose name is Solana Chris comes into the space, and he starts talking about Solana. I don't know how we started talking about Solana. And he starts talking about all the amazing things that's happening in Solana. I recorded the space as I was waiting to get a haircut, and I wanted to play you the space. Before I go any further, let me read you the actual dialogue that came out of this, and this is coming from Mario's Twitter handle, and this is coming directly from Mario. Basically, as people are speaking, he abbreviates it. Again, I'm not going to give you a pro, and I'm not going to give you a con opinion on Solana. I do want to give people a very, very unbiased channel that covers all crypto news. Before I go any further, can I ask you to make a comment down below? It really helps with the algorithm, and it's going to show me that you want me to make more videos like this. And if you're used to me from some other channel, guys, this channel, as I said, is all crypto. And if you don't like that, then definitely don't watch the channel. My other channel is going to be crypto specific. With that said, let me get right into the video. All right, guys, this is Mario Nawfal. And I probably butchered that name. He's the one that's running the spaces 24/7, and he has his founder and CEO of IBC Group. When he started his spaces, he had just over 100,000 followers. Ever since he made that space, his Twitter presence, his social media presence is going through the freaking roof. He now has 227,000. Good on you for starting the space and seizing the moment, taking advantage of a really shitty situation. If you go a little bit lower, he even puts out a tweet. Did you guys like the Solana discussion, or do you prefer breaking news action? And then he goes over everything that we spoke about in Solana. So it literally was a guy called Solana Chris. I don't know him, but I'm assuming he's a big name in the Solana community. What's going on with Solana? And this is as per Solana Chris. Solana adaptation metrics are not decreasing. Solana NFT volume went up as the price of Solana collapsed. Solana sold out 10,000 collections in the past week, and Solana NFT community sentiment is booming. Solana is a decentralized and becoming more and more decentralized. The blockchain works. More details on Ryan's thoughts on Solana's future, and then there's a link to YouTube. I didn't watch his channel, and I'm not going to be watching it. Solana is fully diluted market cap at 4.8 billion versus Aptos, which is 4.3 billion. How do they compare? And then he says, I am not impressed by the Aptos team versus Solana. Aptos works like an American corporation. No Aptos community like Solana. Then there was another guy, Kyle Chase. He says he's more bullish on Aptos and their tech for large corporations, but Rand states that Solana's network effect is more important than the tech. And that's the abbreviation of the space. Now I'm going to play you the actual space. It's a quick 20-minute space. And again, I have my own views on Solana, but I'm not going to go over those views of Solana in this specific video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much for the likes, the shares, and subscribe. And let me know in your comments down below, are you or are you not a Solana fan? Are you thinking in getting in Solana? Are you already in Solana? Again, most of my viewers are probably not going to be Solana viewers, but I still want to cover it and see if it's going to stick. Thank you. Let me play you the actual space. It's a 20-minute space.
You're not seeing more development on Polygon. I assure you that. The metrics on Solana have not decreased at all. Even the volume of NFTs traded has just gone up. So like we were at like 70 to 100,000 when we like daily volume on Magic Eden whenever whenever we were at $30, and now that we're at 13, it's like 270,000. It's wild.
Oh wow!
It's
So
like
hold
the
on, hold on.
same.
Sorry, bro. Solana NFTs volume went up as the price of Solana crashed.
Yeah, it just stayed the same dollar amount. Like it's crazy. Like the people, the degens, they're just spending the same amount of dollars regardless of what the price of Solana is. It's absolutely wild, Mario. Like I would have thought for sure Magic Eden would be at like 50,000 soul volume. No, I think it was yesterday or something, they had 270,000 soul volume. Well, that's wild because whenever we were at 30 and 30,
Fuck, Chris, come back, please.
it was like 70 to 100,000.
Sorry.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
Chris,
So you
we
dropped
lost
out
you
for
about 10 seconds.
no. Yeah. Oh, good. I think he's talking about the volume. Okay. So metrics. Sorry, guys. I will get back to the channel's discussion. But just Chris, so Solana metrics not decreasing, like the adoption metrics, let me call it. NFT volume went up in sold terms, so in dollar terms
and
stayed
we've
the
even
same.
sold out 2 10,000 piece collections, in the last week. It's wild. Like I'm telling you, the people on Solana are just like, oh, it's cheaper, sick. Because for us, it's not about the price of the token. It's literally about the underlying NFT technology.
Bro, hold on. You're saying two 10K PFP collections sold out on Solana in the past week?
Yeah. Sources and Lily.
I thought the Solana ecosystem is just barely surviving. Not,
It's
I
absolutely
think it's
booming.
just holy shit. So the sentiment, how's the sentiment in the community?
You have to also separate between DeFi and NFTs.
100%.
I agree.
Yeah,
NFTs
Serum's
are
wrecked.
crushing right now.
Serum's wrecked with all the BTC liquidity. Irrelevant to us. We're getting cheaper Solana, and the technology is still moving at an exponential rate. Shit, on testnet, they were like at Solana Labs, they were practicing consensus at the speed of light the other day in a perfect dev environment. They hit 1 million TPS. So like they're still building. I mean, they've got 3 years of runway just at Solana Labs. That's not even Solana Foundation or Solana. So like just Solana Labs has 3 years of runway at the current price of Solana because they never kept their money at FTX. A lot of these guys are high level like blockchain developers. They keep cold storage and shit like that. Like they might have some percentages that were yield farming on FTX, but the persons that I know that lost the most at FTX right now is Star Atlas, $15 million. I'm in very close connection with their team. I spoke with them. No one's been laid off. They had $15 million in FTX.
Yeah, but even if no one's been laid off, $15 million is still gone. If that's not even good news, I'm not saying it's bad news. Unless they raise more money, not laying off anyone when you've lost $15 million doesn't sound like good news to me.
Money, Mario. So like they're just gonna like they already were over. They were already over allocated on fund. That was like profit they lost basically. But for Star Atlas, they're building a project that expands out over years because it's like the first fully on
Star Atlas is building on Solana, yeah?
Yeah, because they are building the first actual MMO in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah. So I'm invested, bro. We've had them on the show. I'm invested. I love Star Atlas.
They're fantastic.
I invested days. I bought Star Atlas tokens days before the FTX collapsed. So and I'm fine
Star
with
Atlas has been really receptive to Raindrop as well, which is why I've gotten closer with their team because I'm the first person to adopt the Raindrop protocol in Solana. It's a gaming protocol. And like what is interesting about that is they want to look at turning their ships into containers and then all of the avatars and accessories into player item contracts. That way the ships can hold all of the players and the items, and then you could transfer like a ship and 15 avatars and 100 accessories in one NFT. You could transfer the whole thing to another user, or you could break it down into pieces. So like they're so far ahead of like it's a full scale MMO in Unreal Engine 5 that completely uses the blockchain for everything.
Okay, so I like this discussion. We're kind of pivoting to something positive and exciting at a time when everyone's worried. Again, we're not recommending for anyone to go buy Solana, to buy Sol tokens because we don't know how bad things could get with DCG and everything. So we just cannot time it. But I'm really happy to hear this. I was talking to someone that was at. Yeah, so
cut you off.
Yeah, just I had one more quick question, Jack, if you don't mind. So I just did I'm adding the notes that Chris is saying in the thread. For anyone that has questions about Solana, You can see I'm just going to pin it above. I just did actually. You can put your questions there, or you can put them in the questions in the bottom right comments. Let's do a quick discussion, a brainstorm around Solana. I think it's a really important ecosystem I don't want to ignore. So one question before we go to Jack. So you said Solana Labs has a 3-year runway, and that's excluding Solana Foundation and Solana itself, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, because they're all like separate entities from each other. So basically, none of them are doing too terrible right now. And like even Solana price, a lot of it was, I mean, sure, there were definitely institutional sales, but I think FTX liquidated a lot of their Solana starting at like 200 and something dollars because we already know how much they had on their books, right? And they were supposed to have $2.2 billion of Solana. Well, Mario, how come they've only got $800 million worth of assets if they're supposed to have $2.2 billion worth of Solana? So they don't have $2 billion worth of Solana. So what this implies is now Solana has a better distribution rate. Like, I tell people not to freak out about Bitcoin bear markets because what you're doing is you're helping the distribution of Bitcoin, which over time helps it grow at a steady pace of 200% average APY, right? So it's like at the end of the day, Solana being distributed more evenly like this and everybody getting the reset, it's freaking great. And everyone who's asking for a single digit Solana, good luck. I mean, there's like no liquidity below $10 until you get to like $4. And I just don't know any whales that are going to lose, 40 or 60% market.
So hold on, bro. So you're saying one of the arguments made against Solana is the centralization aspect, and you're saying FTX or Alameda was one of those central entities that was being criticized.
It was the only central entity, really.
So essentially one of the main criticisms of Solana, one of, not the only, but one of the main criticisms of Solana has just been fixed, no?
Yeah, and then the second one's fixed through Google adding the cloud nodes, because now what they're going to do is Solana Foundation is going to set out like a large supply of Solana that can just be used to spin up nodes whenever network transactions uptick, so that we don't have to worry about millions of transactions being targeted during a mint causing the nodes to fork. Because what happened previously, whenever the nodes would get reset, which has happened to Solana 3 times in the last year, is basically new bot technology is attacking mints, and mints don't handle TPS as fast as transactions.
Hey, we got Kyle in the house as well, and Umbrella came on. Everyone's getting excited, huh? Everyone got excited now. We're talking about Solana, some good news about
that 301 run.
Go ahead, Jack.
Is that in their native?
I've got like 5 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Let me do this real quick, and I'm actually going to hop down. But here's all I wanted to say on the Solana front. So, I was up here with Tone and backing Bitcoin. I'm kind of a Bitcoin maxi, but I like trades. I like good setups, and I'm with Simon that Bitcoin is separate from everything else. So I use trades to make more Bitcoin, right? So that's a little background on me. I've been watching Solana, and back at about $180, the charts were kind of pointing toward $14 Solana. So this has been a long time coming for me to see the price of Solana actually like finally reach this $14 level. It's huge. To me, all the hate, all the negative press, all the terrible things that we've seen for Solana, it really reminds me of Ethereum last bear market. A lot of people forget Ethereum went from $1,400 down to $80. And that was like one of the scariest drops ever. So you look at Solana, went from whatever 240, 250, whatever it was, down to $12, $13. It's a very similar percentage wise.
$10.11 crypto, Jack. $10.11. Listen, I'm up 450% from 1133. Like how can you not? At below $10, you lose money.
But here's the thing, and a lot of people forget this too. And so I think this is my role in this space, is to be, kind of level-headed and remind people of how this works. When Ethereum fell below $300, it took 1,000 days before it got back above it and actually started trending. It was almost, 2.5 years before things got good again. So is this probably a pretty good level for Solana? Yeah, price-wise, there's a lot of time between now and the next bull market probably, but logically it's a decent spot. But at the same time, don't over leverage. Don't get yourself in a position where you can't sit there and hold it for 2.5 years, because that may be what you're looking at. But I think it is on my short list of things to keep an eye on, just because of everything that's happened this cycle and the fact that it's been sold so hard into. All right, that's it, guys. Thank you. Thanks for having me. See you, Mario.
Thanks, man. Yeah, would love. Alex, what's your take on it, and Mad Scientist on Solana?
Yeah. So I think I agree with Chris, like generally that it's like way too early to like write off Solana, especially given the treasury size, the developers that are actively on the platform and have adopted it over time. Also, like I think a lot of the dApps were bringing a lot of mainstream users between like Phantom Wallet and even things like StepIn, which, you know, maybe even if they didn't sustain, they still got people to like get excited about crypto for the first time. So I think generally it's important to like recognize I don't think it's dead. I will steel man slightly the other side, which is my hope coming out of this is that the Solana developer community and like foundation like uses this as like a moment of reflection to like get back to the core ethos, because for years like a lot of like people in the community were pointing to this heavy like VC concentration and were pointing to some of these issues, and it was kind of all laid bare with FTX. Now I think, you know, the argument could be, okay, that was like a necessary evil at the time to get the capital in, and that capital is what led to it. But I just hope moving forward, to Chris's point, this leads to a better distribution. And also it, you know, hopefully is like a wake up call of, you know, maybe other areas of centralization with Solana of like, what is that right balance to find in terms of like performance while also not risking, you know, other like critical areas like of collapse in the future. And so that would be like my hope for the Solana community, is that, you know, the token is more distributed. The way that consensus is being run continues to push towards decentralization. And, you know, even just the way these projects are built, being built in a way that's more decentralized.
You know, it rates 3 for Nakamoto coefficient, which is freaking wild, dude. Like considering the level of centralization that was there with the physical nodes. Now that we'll be able to use cloud nodes for like a fraction of the cost, because like think about what a computer to do 65,000 TPS costs. It's like $3,500. So if you think about one of the nicest Google like cloud services that is equivalent to that costing like 50 or $100 a month, well, now you could run years worth of physical hardware that you never have to upgrade or manage or like pay electricity on, things like that. And I think the Solana Foundation being active about setting up some stuff to run nodes when uptick happens is fantastic. But again, I want to go back to Bitcoin, because this is the thing that the whole market needs to really think about. Like Bitcoin is you're being presented a second opportunity, right? Like Bitcoin was never the problem during any of this. And what we've noticed is that and this actually makes sense why ETH valuation went so high and why we saw such crazy prices that we did from altcoins in this run. And it also lasted a lot longer than normal. And altcoin rotation usually lasts like 6 months. And it lasted like over a year. Okay. Well, now we know why, because they were faking it till they make it the entire time and they never made it. But if we look at the entire retrace of the market, you've seen, I mean, incredible weight dropped on these altcoins, and you're seeing your survivors, like your horses. You think of it as a race, okay? You're finding your horses now. You're seeing your Chainlink, your Polkadot, your Litecoin. I fucking hate to say it, but your Doge, your BNB, and your ETH. You're seeing that these are definitely going to stand the test of time. Maybe even ADA at this point. But we are also watching,
brother.
we are also watching. Yeah, I can't believe he said that to me on this stage. That's wild. Anyway, I would like to say that Solana has joined those tokens. I'm sure of it. From a liquidity perspective, like staked liquidity, daily transaction volume, daily transaction amount, right? Like everything around Solana, it's got a good brand. So I think that as we do go through this bear market and we finish this cycle and we start to become bullish, I do think that Solana stands the test of time because there's enough liquidity backing it now, which originally was the problem, as Alex had stated. So much money had come into Solana that it was almost perverted. Well, now that money's been chased out, but the amount of traction has not been chased out with that liquidity, which implies you have a winner here. So as long as Solana is below $24, it's very bearish. It is currently at $13. It has taken a larger hit than anything else and has a very low amount of liquidity inside of it right now compared to just weeks ago. If we look at Ethereum and BNB and Litecoin, but I don't think Litecoin's in danger because it's not super liquid like BNB and ETH are. But BNB and ETH right now are the two that we'll see liquidity pulled from to support Bitcoin or if Bitcoin does drop to somewhere between 14.5 and 13.8, which I promise you guys, you get a bounce at 13.8. I mean, there's just no way you don't. So like at the end of the day, you could see Bitcoin come down a little further, but people have no idea how bullish it is that we're even above 16,300 right now after going into the depths of 15,000 2 or 3 times now. And the target the entire time from a psychological standpoint has been about 15.5. And then just from like a volume and like historical moment, 13.8. And we can find a little bit of support and resistance between there, and it falls pretty much around 14.5. So Bitcoin has retraced 2 years for everyone in this room to be given a second opportunity, and everyone is panicking. Are you shitting me? When it was $69,000, you were punching yourself in the face that you weren't buying in November of 2020. And you're going to sit here and tell me right now that you're afraid that Bitcoin's going to go to 10K? Well, then I have a suggestion. You buy it at 16, you buy it at 10, you buy it at 9, you buy it at 6, you buy it until they quit fucking selling it. It's never not been a good idea. Now, am I a Solana maxi when it comes to every altcoin in this market? Yes. But Bitcoin is king. Bitcoin is the reason we are here, and it's the only thing that has not been completely wrecked or perverted during all of this. And Simon, thank you for pointing that shit out earlier.
Hey, look. All right, Bitcoin is king, right? And I've posted this before. Bitcoin, though, it's a Model T, right? I'm a car guy. I'm very happy the Model T came around, but it doesn't suit our current needs. But Solana, on the other hand, it's fast, it's cheap, it has a great development community, right? Just like Ethereum, which also makes me bullish on Solana because they just released the Neon, which means you can run Ethereum programs on Solana, right? And if you're looking at any blockchain's development, the EVMs, which means an Ethereum virtual machine that runs it, right, has the most development ever created in the history of smart contracts, right? So everything that's been built on Ethereum can now go over there. And yes, we had Velas, right? The EVM-based fork of Solana came out in 17, but it was kind of a pain in the butt. Neon is significantly better. So now all that amazing DeFi stuff that we had on Ethereum, we can now take it and play with it on Solana. And if you look at Axelar and Wormhole, that are both looking to completely connect all of these blockchains, like there's no reason not to be bullish on Solana. There's no reason not to be bullish on any blockchain that has a strong development community, right? And like XRP is even going that direction.
Matt, to make your point even stronger, the fact that you can run that Solidity code natively on the Solana blockchain is going to be incredibly powerful for scaling, because it's not the same as like doing it with Polkadot or Kusama where you have to use Moonbeam or Moonriver, right?
Right.
It's not like that at all. It just will be able to interpret and read Solidity.
What do you can run it natively?
So like it can just read the way it can read Rust. When you execute a smart contract on Rust on the blockchain, it reads it natively. Well, they're building into basically the core language interpreter of Solana to just interpret Solidity as well. So you'll be able to execute Solidity on Solana.
Solidity's JavaScript, so how does it compile to Rust?
No, it's an interpreter.
Without getting too technical, Umbrella and Alex, I'd love your final thoughts before we give the mic to Simon.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the kind of devil's advocate here. 30 months of runway is not a lot. It's 2.5 years. To me, that's not a lot. Firstly, the only positive side is that it excludes their SOL holdings, though would they be able to sell some of those SOL holdings to fund the project? They'll find it quite difficult to do. So I think 2.5 years of runway, so it's 30 months, is not a significant amount. And,
that's without selling Solana, Umbrella. That's just Solana Labs. That's a completely independent entity that resides in Chicago that builds for Solana Core. That's not Metaplex, which is $1 billion entity. It's not Solana Foundation. It's not Solana, the core team like Raj and Anatoly. It's like Jordan and Bartaj and everybody at Raindrop and Cupcake and B&J Studios. And that's without selling their soul. So let's just assume that Solana is not $11 in 2.5 years and that it's higher than $11. Well, then, yeah, sure. If they needed to sell 1,000 SOL a month to pay employees or 2,000 SOL a month, that's only a couple $100,000 a month. You're talking about an asset that trades billions of dollars a day.
Yeah, and then natively EVM, that for me is more bullish for Ethereum than Solana. It means that they're not getting enough traction, that they have to build an EVM machine on top of Solana. Why use Solana when you could use AVAX, Phantom, etc.? For me, that's not something that's bullish for Solana. If anything, it's bullish for Ethereum and Ethereum
You're talking
clients.
about Neon. You're talking about Neon EVM.
Yeah, so I don't see as a
Well,
builder
because
why would I.
Serum's really good, and if you actually bring real liquidity like DeFi from Ethereum to Serum, you actually get better DeFi, and it's more affordable and it's scalable in an easier way. So you don't have to use things like Moonriver, Moonbeam, and all these different things, and you also get to avoid like bridges, right? Like bridges can be hacked. So it's actually just makes it to where an Ethereum project that wants to offer better utility or more utility, or they want to become dynamic or executable, well, you could bring your Solidity code to Solana with your project and actually use it for scaling. And then you could build new smart contracts in Rust that would allow you to take advantage of our ability to produce dynamic and executable NFTs. In my opinion, this is better than using Kusama or Polkadot.
But
I'm not denying that, but is it better than using an Ethereum layer 2?
So Wes, what is there? Is there any?
Yes, no bridging.
Is there any other? Is there any other? Devil's advocate. Any other concerns with Solana umbrella?
I have some.
I guess
I can't wait.
the only concern that I will have is you need to watch what the gods does. If the gods decides that they're leaving Solana, that would be a massive blow to them. So I think everyone should be watching.
You're talking about Frank's DeGods project?
Yes.
Do you really think they have that much impact on the
ecosystem?
ecosystem?
No, it doesn't.
Well, they're about 50-60% of the NFT volume. So
Magic Eden just added Polygon support as well for the integration.
Ha.
Because they want to bring more games from Polygon to Solana so that they can take advantage. What I'm telling you is,
but that street
works
both ways. That street works both ways, though, right? Because Frank is talking about taking DeGods to Ethereum.
He's talking about doing an escrow.
Sides.
He's talking about doing an escrow where you can lock your Solana ute and claim the same ute on Ethereum and then sell it for Ethereum, which is kind of asinine to me. It doesn't make sense to me that they would even do that, because we could just sell it to you for Ethereum. But I guess it's the point about having it in your MetaMask. But I'm not 100% sure Frank's still going to go through with that.
I mean, overall, with all of these chains, and I posted an article on my Twitter about it, right? The number one problem is the wallets, right? Like, the wallets don't make great experiences right now, right? And I mean, I don't mind my Phantom wallet, right? I don't mind my MetaMask wallet, right? But, both of them make it hard. So until we've solved that one, right, I don't know what blockchain is going to come up and run everything, right? Like, we're talking about this in that regard, right? But for adoption and getting people on there, we need better wallets.
Alex, any other concerns before I go to Simon? Any other concerns with Solana, Alex? I'd love the other side of that fence.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's premature to write Solana off, but I also think it's like premature to like crown it some king, or like even crown it as one of those, staying blockchains, because it is still relatively young and this is its biggest test yet. I think, aside from the allocation and, I hope if anything, this just is for the future, helps leadership and the builders focus more on the importance of decentralization. But I think, look, if I look at the use cases, I think NFTs, that's about like cultural influence. And that's why I personally think Frank and DeGods is important, is because culturally, like, you want it to be the blockchain of like the NFT degens and like the people that are active. And so I am keeping an eye on that, because I think it is important to keep people like Frank on there. But then in terms of like TVL, I think that is where I'm a little more concerned, is on the DeFi front. Like, TVL has dropped from 10.17 billion in November of 2021 down to 287 million today. And like, to put that into, context, right? Like, we saw Mango Markets get hacked for like 100 million, last month. And so like, Solana is like one or two exploits away from basically not having DeFi. I mean, I'd argue at this point, I would not touch DeFi on Solana, because why would I want to be like fucking around in areas where the liquidity is that shallow? It's asking for an exploit, it's asking for that. So I think my biggest concern is on the DeFi fraud, not on NFTs. I actually think NFTs, gamings, and all that, I think that's not the issue on Solana. Like, I think
I
the
agree, Alex. I agree. We need Serum to have more liquidity for the AMMs to work more properly. And I'm sure Mad has a thought on that, but we can't. Look, dude, I'm telling you, I'm so glad that this happened. I mean, not really, because I know there's a lot of people that got fucked. But in a way, this whole FTX thing has allowed us to find out who the real and the fake devs are, too, as well. And the way people handle bear markets tells you everything you need to know. And I think that is why you're seeing such an escalation with the NFT projects, because people are starting to recognize the people that are actual founders with actual business models that are actually potentially building something here for the people. And that's only like 4%. It's like a very small percentage. So yeah, we got some growing to do, but it's an opportunity. I want to hear what Simon has to say about Bitcoin.
Yeah,
That's my
I think
favorite.
exactly. Actually, Solana, Simon, what are what are your thoughts on Solana, Simon?
I'm kind of listening. It's just it's not it's not my game. I'm an economics. I'm a
I
money
tried
guy.
to lure you in. I tried to lure you in.
No, I mean
What's your
you guys are much more well researched on Solana than I am. So I'm listening. But I'm in the macro game,
my mic dropped out. I was just saying, Simon, tell us what's your thoughts on decentralized games and the role of NFTs and digital ownerships within games and interoperability within Web3 games.
Again, it's the whole decentralized argument we have. Essentially, that my map of the world is that we have this digital hard sound money Bitcoin. We then have this experiment with proof of stake, and then we have a bunch of securities and experiments underneath it.
So